Hi guys, it's Rachel here. I'm doing my video early today, so that way I'm not feeling sort of rushed. So basically what happened yesterday was I did a bonus video, but literally, let me just stand up so you can see, literally I was working over here. I had so much stuff here because I hadn't cleaned up from my previous video. I had just continued on that you couldn't even, I was over here working and you just couldn't see anything, so I couldn't post it. So I was really disappointed because I think it was a good video. Yeah, so I made a whole lot of stuff in it, so I was I was disappointed. So that teaches me to check. So these are what we did on video yesterday. I think that's all of them. I might be missing one. No, I'm not. That's all of them. Quite a bit in the hour, but I had done another 1 hour and 3 minute video. Can you imagine? I felt exhausted afterwards. So I'll show you what I did in the video. It's these. And so these were or are in my digital kit, and I had forgotten to use them in my previous video, so I went on and continued to create some ephemera. And so this is the old book page from 1756, and then I just put some Medieval Mirage on it and collaged on the back. And this is the other side of the book page. Absolutely loved how these turned out, and they were so much fun to do. So I was really disappointed that the video didn't turn out. Oh, I didn't show you the other side. I don't think there's much on the other side. I just put plain paper except for that one. There's a little bit of Gale up there, and then this is mine, and then this is Medieval Mirage, and I just loved how they worked together. So they were really fun to do. Oh, I did a bit more on the back of that one. I think this one I did the other day, or those I did the other day as well. So that's those. And then I continued on after that, thinking I'd done a great video. And I just made some more, these are little tuck spot things here. And then I made some more tags because I'm going to need quite a lot of tags, I think. And then I did these glassine bags. So maybe we'll do a couple of those today. I put some little tags inside which I really like, and I made this tag here. That's on the old door in my kit, and I love how that turned out. And so I slipped that in there, and I did another look. I will call them loaded bags. They're glassine bags, and I just put this here, and I did back that just with a paper because I just with some brown paper bag in case decided to make it like floating, so that way if you saw the back it wasn't white. And I put some little tags in here and collage there, and then I put this pretty tag in here. I love that. I love the way I don't know if I'll be able to part with them. That's the problem. And then I did this one. Absolutely love how that turned out. These are all from different kits. Don't ask me which because I can't remember. I just pulled them out of the bags, and then that's the back. And then I did this one here, that was just one of the journaling cards, and I put a little bit of sari silk there, and then I collaged on the back of it. And I might do a few more of those because they're quick and easy. And then this was another tag with a little bit of Medieval Mirage behind, and then that's the side, and a bit of lace. And look at even that crazy little scrap that I stuck on there. So that's what I did yesterday. Really, I did quite a lot, but oh, I'm so sorry it didn't video. Now you might see here I got this basket with my William Morris washies. Might keep those out. Now I did say the caps. Well, these are the caps that I've got. A little bit disappointing, aren't they? They're not as many as you thought, but I think in the first 50 days I had more caps than this. I went through more glue. So because you know when I did these I didn't use very much glue, so when I did the mini journal thingies, so I'll tell you how many there are. So that's 5. Oops, that's 5. There's 9. Some ladies said 14, 16. Jaff said 100. That was very optimistic of you, Jaff. But there's 9, so we'll keep them. We'll see how we go towards the end. I dropped one, that's okay, we'll get that after. There's 9 lids. Who'd have thought? Only 9 glues. But I do have one nearly finished here, so that'll be 10. And that one I've already put in there. I've got this little bit of glue left here from the ones that Joyce sent me. So let's do some glassine bags, and we will do these little ones as well. we'll start off with these, see how long it takes, and then see if we want to do anything else. So I'm going to grab a big bag. We'll do one big bag because they're quite I want to say impegnativo in Italian, but they are quite. Now let me just double check everything, because I really would be so disappointed if I was off screen again. Really disappointed, as you would be too, and irritated. So I've got this bit of Tracy Fox here. Anyway, let me just see what sort of thing I might like to do. I've got here Medieval Missives part 4. I'm just going to link all of the as a side note, I'm just going to link all of the kits, because I am being really bad and mixing it up. So it's literally impossible for me to say, oh, that piece came from that and that piece came from that. So you're just going to have to bear with me and just go and flip through them and see. I think don't try and just buy what I bought. What I would recommend you do is you have a look at them and see what you like. Mind you, there's a lot in them, so when you look at the listing, it's quite hard to... I love this piece of paper. It's just got everything in it, doesn't it? Beautiful writing, beautiful... I love all these sorts of things as well. That's really gorgeous. I think I like this bit here. I might try and include that. So let's see how we go with the videoing today. Wouldn't be me if I didn't mess up. I couldn't post it. You couldn't even see a third of me. There was not even a third on screen. So there was just no way it was going to be posted. You would have been too disappointed in me. It's a shame, because they were fun to do. So I think I'm going to put that there. Absolutely love that. Let's see if I've got enough glue on. I might change my book page over. And my husband is a saint. He has been separating books for me. So I'm going to be able to make up quite a lot of bundles. I'm going to get onto that today, ladies. And I may do a video and just maybe vaguely tell you. Some of them I can't remember exactly. I would have to go back and see my flip throughs of journals I've made, because some of them are left over from those. But I don't generally I wouldn't put in anything that's beyond, I mean, if it were beyond 1910, it would have to have a very nice paper and a very nice font for me to include that in a pack. So you're pretty sure that it's going to be definitely before 1905, and the majority of them are normally from, what do I want to say, from the 1800s, and quite a lot from the early 1800s, because I've been lucky enough to find lots of those types of books. I'm just trying to see in this missives kit if there's anything else. Oh, this is the one that I haven't finished cutting out. Oh, I love that. I might like to include that, I think, as a tag. I'm just going to cut that out, and before I cut it out like properly, I'm going to back it. I'm going to become craft smarter, and I do love that too, so I think I'll do that one, and I'll do this one. There we go. There's a decision made. Now I just need to decide what I want to put on the... Oh, look at those. Oh, so many nice things. Anyway, this was the one that sweet Lulu was cutting up for me, and she hasn't quite finished, but I started, then I did more cutting, but there's so much in there. It was taking me forever. So anyway, I'll keep it near. I think I want something a bit more, with a bit more... Oh, I left that out. I'm going to put that away. With a bit more colour. That's what I'm thinking. But I'll keep that here because I need to know that I'm using that. And I've got all those random bits that I had printed the other day, but I think I've been using them quite a lot. And I don't want that piece of paper sticking to things. Just trying to see if there's anything here. Gosh, I'm a messy person. Really messy person. goodness knows how I get anything done. Oh, what about a piece of this? This is from, now I feel like these papers here are wonderful as well. And these can work in very well. Look at that. That's going to go there. They can work in very, this is from the kit that I made with the video course. Video course, it's really just a a tutorial sort of thing. The project is what I made. I actually had made it already on YouTube. So the videos was really more, when I did this kit, it was really more to show how I used it, exactly how I used it. But there's nice long videos there as an extra bonus. And it is super pretty paper. I really do like it. So I hope I haven't done, it's a little bit narrow. Maybe I should put it that way. I could put it that way. There's no reason why I couldn't do that. So why don't I do that? So maybe I'll leave it on here while I tear it. Don't know what Lulu's doing. She's very busy in the other room with the TV going, of course, and something's happening in there. Right, we'll be getting the question, what's for lunch soon? And I have no idea. No idea. I know what we're having for dinner, simple stuff. I might cook up some mushrooms. And then we've got some culatello, which is like a, it's not prosciutto, it's cured in a different way. I can't remember. Well, I'm just going to have some coffee, just a sec. Okay. Can't remember how it's good, but it's very yummy. It's a bit like prosciutto, a bit slightly different flavour and shape and stuff like that. So Steffi's cousin's kind of husband, I say kind of husband because they've been together for like forever, but they're not married. Don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe they don't want to get, I mean she's the marrying type, his cousin, so I don't know why they're not married. Yes, he makes it. So he used to be, he's like, they have a, that's where we get our meat from. I'm going to put that little strip there. So yeah, they live in the country, which is not, I mean, if you say you live in the country, I almost live in the country. Everywhere's in the country here in Italy. If you're not living in Milan or Rome, or even, in the center of Florence, then, I mean, you're literally driving in two shakes of a leg, you're in the country. So, oh, I just love this. Look at that. That could go on there, but I'll trim it. I don't want it so big. I don't want to cover all my paper. See, it's good when you have a little bit of a, shall we say, chat, and you're not even concentrating, and things just happen. That's the best way. That is the best way. Okay. So I did grab my big glue for that. Number one, because I'm pretty sure that one that Joyce has given me is sticking down the fabrics pretty well, but I'm just going to use this one just to be sure. I've got my wet one over here. I actually re-wet this one. Can't think. I had a good night's sleep. I mean, I'm pretty chatty today. I don't know what I'm going to tell you, but pretty chatty. So that's like that. There you go. There's one of those great descriptive ways of saying things to you. That's like that, and that's going on that, and that's going in that. There you go. I'm wondering, would I like a little piece of that there? And I think I do, just just to break it up a little bit. Got a little piece of glue here that's not quite finished yet, and that will go there. So yeah, so disappointed yesterday about that video. Right, now we need to choose some tags, make some tags to go in here. This could be this is just the paper that I've been tearing up. Look, it's nearly all gone. I think that would make a very pretty tag. So I'm going to tear that. first of all I'm going to tear it down here. Oops, got my ruler got tangled in. I think I might prefer to keep this piece like this. I'm just deciding which way to tear first. If I tear up like that, maybe I'll be lucky and be able to get that bit up there. This is just printed on copy paper. Oh dearie me, come on. Worst comes to worst, there's always the jaggedy scissors, unless Lulu took them. Did she take them? No, don't blame somebody else, it's on your table. I'm sure you ladies could see them. Okay, and then I'm just going to tear this. Oh, I probably should have backed it first. Oh well, yes, I should have done that. However, I needed to take off these bits because I can use those in collaging. So I didn't really have a choice. I'll just use the jaggedy scissors. Oh, isn't that pretty? I think that's going to go really well in there. So, and I don't think I need to do too much to it, really. I just want to back it. So I'm going to back it with, oh, I might put, oh, I like this. This is one of my favorites of Tracy's papers. I think I'll put that on there. And I'm just going to tear that. And flip it over, and that will glue down there. And then I'll sort out, I'll just tear a bit of this off, and then I'll sort out the extra length afterwards. Okay. Good, so that's glued down there. And I'll do that afterwards because I need to glue another piece down. And what am I've got more bits over here. So just as I mentioned yesterday, I did just gather up all the bits from when I trimmed, because you know I reduced my papers, so I had lots of you know, bits left over, and I just threw them all in here. So because these are good for collaging on the back of things, I think I'll just put that one on there. And it's a shame to, you know, it's a shame to waste. I'm not the perfect recycler by any means, but it is a shame to waste. I think I dreamt about recycling rubbish the other night. Did I dream it? Or was it true? I think I dreamt it. Very odd dreams. Okay. Now, I don't know if I should address this or not. It's a bit of a sticky area because it's not really about, that's not, oh, I can put another piece across the top. It's not really about me, it's about someone else. But I felt bad for her. So I will. Oh no, maybe I won't. I don't know. Maybe I should ask her. I'll ask her and then I'll address it tomorrow if she wants me to. Yes, that's what I'll do. She might not want me to. Yeah, it's nothing too bad, but yeah. No, don't worry. Change subject. Move on to something else. Anyway, I was also asked, how did I end up in Italy? There we go. That's a good change of subject, isn't it? After that awkward moment. Well, that wasn't too hard to trim off. Oh, that might get covered too by when I put a tab on top. I might put a tab like that on top, would be nice. That might be, this is just going to be simple. It's just a little journaling card, and that is super pretty and I really like that. So that will be stitched there. So let's just clip it. It can be done later. Let it dry a little bit. Put that over there. Oh, having a sip of coffee. And moving right along. Okay, I can't believe that I did that yesterday, seriously. Oh, now how did I get to Italy? Put your hand up if you'd like to know that. Haha, as if I can see. So, basically, I went to school, obviously, high school. We call it senior school, and, well, where I grew up in Sydney, we called it senior school. And then when I finished, my two best friends, I think I've mentioned this before, my two closest friends were living in the States. One has an American passport because her dad's a doctor, and he was doing his sort of, you know, when they finish their degree and they have to go and do, I don't know what you call it, an internship, that's it. Got it today, got the words today. He had to do an internship in the States, he did it. And so my friend was born there while he was doing that. And so anyway, she studied science, social science or science, I don't know. She's been like my best friend since we were 4, so you'd think I should know what she studied. But anyway, she was working at the hospital in Harlem and doing she does like lots of sort of research at the social end of it, like, you know, sort of the effects of certain treatments and stuff on the family or on the person, or, you know, like I think she was recently working on a project at the hospital in Sydney, the effects of maybe radiation, you know, like for the uterus, on the fetus. I don't know, those sorts of studies she does. And so she was working in Harlem, and my other best friend was studying at a university in New York, and we're all friends together. And so I'm just going to stitch around that one. I don't think I might have a little bit of lace or something on the top. Let me see. Itchy ear. Got an itchy ear. So yeah, and then my other two dear friends were living in Europe. They were working and living in Europe, or whooping it about, I don't know. Yes, that'll be nice up there. And so, you know, like I finished university. I didn't, just an arts degree. I didn't really, I first of all thought I was going to go into sort of banking or something like that, but I'm not that type of person really. And when I studied economics at university, I was going to go and do transfer over to economics, and I actually didn't enjoy it very much. I'm going to glue that there. That just fell there, and now it's going to be stuck there. So I sort of was one of those people, like my sister has always known what she wanted to do, and my youngest brother has always known what he wanted to do. I think my older brother didn't always know what he wanted to do. He sort of got there in the end, a bit like me, but yeah, I think with the older two we were a bit lost. And so I didn't, you know, all my closest friends were away, so I just decided, I had always had a job when I was at uni, even though I lived at home, and so I had saved a lot of money, and so I just said to Dad, I'm going to go away for a year, and Dad said, good, it's good for you, because I'm sure he regretted that decision, saying that to me, but you know, generally parents say that in Australia, they think it's good for you to go and have an experience overseas. So off I went, and so we had some friends in New Jersey that they had come and stayed with us. They actually stayed with my friend, the one that was working at that's going to be pretty in there, that was working in the hospital in Harlem, and so I went and stayed with them, and then I would go up to New York 4 days a week. And then after the 6 months, because I could only stay in the States for 6 months, I went to, my uncle half lived in Spain, because his second wife, my uncle had several wives, his second wife was French. And so he sort of, just trying to decide while I'm talking, what I'm going to put in here. He had built this house in Spain so that they could spend 6 months in Melbourne and 6 months in Spain, and let's just say he could afford to do that. And so I went to stay with him. I went to London to see one of my friends, one of the ones that was living in Europe, and then I went to Spain. And after the summer, I said to I had planned to come to Italy to learn Italian. There you go, that's how I got here. And I went to the Michelangelo school to learn Italian. I don't even know if it still exists. I'm just trying to find, I just want a different shape. Nope, I might go into different bundle. And so then I lived with this horrible lady in Florence, old lady. She was really mean to me. I hated it. And I'd been away from home for a long time, and I was about ready to move back home. But my cousin was just finishing uni a year after me, because she changed subjects. So she had an extra year to do because she lost some time. She said, no, but you can't go home. Oh, here's these. Maybe we'll work with some of these. I don't know. No, you can't go home. I've planned my whole trip around you. So I stayed. I waited for her to come, although, you know, money was getting short, and it was nearly time to go home. And so, yeah, so I waited for my cousin, and that's sort of why I stayed. And then I ended up going, oh, there you go, that's where those castles came from. Medieval Odyssey add-on volume 2, that's where they came from. Now what am I trying to say? Oh, aren't these pretty? Oh, maybe I'll put one of these in there. Oh, I already had that other one. Oh, I like these too. Oh, I like those. Yes, so I waited for my cousin, and then you know, then just waiting for her, and we rented, this is terrible, we rented a room in an apartment from this guy, and he, I mean, we didn't like him very much. We didn't have a door in our bedroom. Nothing happened or anything like that. We were very lucky. But if Lulu were to do something like that, I would be saying, no, you're not doing that. We were lucky, nothing bad happened or anything like that. But so we would go out every night, as you do when you're young. And there was this pretty daggy nightclub around the corner from our house. And so, oh, I wonder if you know what daggy means. Anyway, don't have time to explain that. I might have, if you want to know what daggy means, I'll explain. The Aussies will know what daggy means. Oh, yeah, I think all the Aussies will know what daggy means. Anyway, so we would go there, and that's where I met Stefano. No, actually met Stefano in the street. He was he did promotion, like he gave free entry into this sort of disco nightclub sort of thing, and so he had tried to give me tickets in the street, and I said, oh, I already go there, no thank you. I just thought he was being a sleazeball. And but then, you know, like, I just sort of got to know him, and he was very nice and wasn't actually sleazy at all on me. So that's how it ended up happening. And then I had to go home for a year because, as I mentioned, the money sort of started to run out. And but before I went home, I got home and I said to my dad, I'm going back to Italy in a year, because Stefan and I were totally in love with each other. And my dad said, well, I'm not going to help you. What are you going to live on? Air. And I'll never forget him saying it to me. I can remember him looking me straight in the eye. What are you going to live on? Air. And I said, no, I've already got 2 jobs, because I had 2 jobs lined up. And I worked 12 to 14 hours a day, and I saved up the money, and exactly a year later I went back to Italy. And my sweet granny and my mum's mum I had enrolled in antique trade and marketing, antiquariato, at a really famous restoration school in Florence. It was $6,000 a year, I think it was. I had enough for 1 year, and my very kind granny paid for the other year. It was 2 years. It was the best course ever. I loved it. So that's where I learned a lot about paintings and that sort of stuff. Really fabulous. If it's still, I think the school does still exist. If anybody has any opportunity, it was just the best school. I loved it. So yeah, that's how I ended up living in Italy, really. I'm not going to put anything on top of these. These are just going to be, oh, I haven't done anything on that one. I'm just going to stitch around that. So that'll slip in there. I do like that. I'm not sure about this one. I don't think that one goes now. So I'll take that one out, and I think I'll choose another one, if you can bear it. And I might choose, where's my missives? Here, I might see if I can find something just with a bit of script, like a little tag, a mini tag with script on it. That one might be nice. Yeah, so that's how I ended up in Italy. Steffi and I always sort of felt like it was kind of destiny. It was like we, you know, and the ironic thing was, before my friend left for America, and one of my friends, and we were driving, and we were looking at Sydney Harbour, and we both looked at each other and said, we never want to live anywhere else in the world, never. And look at me, I never, you know, in fact, I cried. I cried until like 2 years ago. So, you know, I did not want to leave. But, you know, Stefano came to Australia. He lived there. He worked there. He tried his best, and he loves Australia. And we always say, Lulu says that she wants to live in Australia. She wants to go and live with my older brother, I think. She loves him. And she wants to live in Australia at the moment. I mean, that could change. She's only something like this. No, but I want a tag. I don't think I've got them. Maybe I haven't cut them out yet. So we just say, well, if Lulu does move to Australia, maybe we'll sort of go there in our old age, sort of thing, because we could always do that. There's always that. I would like it. I could cut it into a tag shape if I can't find a tag. I'm kind of thinking I would like, you know, those tags that I did yesterday, if they were mini ones. I'm sure there are. Maybe I should look at the pages that aren't cut. So yeah, it was very hard for me to move here. I did find it difficult, and it was difficult for Steffi to put up with me because I cried a lot. And of course, being here by myself, I did project a lot of my sadness on him. So, but anyway, that's all done. It's finished. Happy now. So I found my happy place, and it's all good. Okay, well, I can't find a page. I'm thinking possibly if I cut this page out, I could cut this page out and, well, just a minute. I've got this one over here. What's this one? Where's this one going? Well, that would be pretty in there, but I might do this one as well, and I'll cut it in a tag shape. You know how I like to do that. And I might just get wise, and that's good English, get wise, and put my paper on the back first. And I'm just got a flash here. I've got this letter that's in my Italian parcel. I've got the blue bit, and it's very old. It's actually a super old letter, so I think I'll just put, I think I like the blue with this lovely ecru sort of colour. I think they work well together. I can tell you in a flash we'll be at an hour, because this is fun. I'm not going to worry about how, you know, close the glue is to the edge, because as you know, I do sew around it. And I'm going to trim that off now all together. So yes, and so then, yeah, I lived in Florence. I did my course, absolutely loved it, best thing ever. And then I worked in bars. I worked in bars and I babysat, and Stefano studied. We had a great time. At that time, oh, that's not it. Oh, it doesn't matter. I can put something else down there. Look at that. Look what I did. So at that time, Florence was still a very safe city. It's pretty safe now, although when I left there, when I went back to Australia in 1999, I had noticed, and my cousin would probably say the same, we had noticed that we didn't feel as safe roaming around at night. I mean, when we were there in the first part of the 90s, you could literally just walk around at night, even two girls, and not worry about it. We were usually with, you know, Steffi, and my cousin was going out with one of his best friends, and so yeah, we'd normally all be together, but we didn't feel unsafe at all. But I don't think it's like that anymore. I really don't. I think you have to be careful. I think there's a lot of and also when we were living there, and there were no Airbnbs, and all of the majority of the students all lived in the centre of Florence. So it was you could see the students everywhere. Whereas now, apparently, our friend was telling us, who still lives there, that everybody's had to move out, sort of out of the centre. So it's all tourists living there, and then, you know, whatever comes along with that. So I don't think it's quite the same as when we were young, living there. I do like that one too. I think I might, no, I don't think I'll cut it. I think I'll just put a little bit of something across the top. Decisions, they're the worst. So yeah, I must say we did have a really, like, too much fun. It was too much fun. Too much fun was had in my youth. And then of course, so I lived there, and then my dad's really funny. He, well, I didn't think he was funny at the time, but he rang me one day and he said, oh, what about if I did, even though to cover the dictionnaire, I can't even say that, I might stitch a little ruffle across there. I think I would like to see that. Yes. My dad saw this article in the Financial Review in Australia about this lady in Florence, and she's an Australian lady, and she had a tour guide business. So that's that done. So we'll stitch those afterwards. And she had this tour company, and they'd written about her. And so he rang me up, and this is what he said to me. He said, I read about this lady in the Financial Review, and she has a tour guide business. He said, you need to ring her up and offer your services, because he didn't like me working in bars. He was very upset about it. He was worried. He said, ring her up and offer your services. And I'm like, oh. And I'm quite a shy person. You won't believe me, but I am. And to me, public speaking is just like, no, I'm not doing public speaking. But I did it because my dad told me to, and I listened to my dad. And so I did it, and I started off by doing tours for her, just some private tours for this. There was this Australian businessman that would come every year to Florence with his son, and they would just do a they would choose like a theme, and what they wanted to sort of see, what they were interested in, and then I don't know if I'm going to like this. If it's going to work for me, no. So let's change direction. And so let me see how long I've been. Am I recording? Yes, because this is a very important story. You don't want to miss the story. Oh wait, I've got these. They're too big. I think they're too big. I'll cut one out. Let's cut one out and just see if it's too big. Isn't she pretty? They're all so pretty. Anyway, yes. So like one year he chose to do Brunelleschi. Another year was Michelangelo. So basically I'd sort of put together the tour and sort of run it by my boss. And she was married to she had an interesting story. She's married to an Italian, and and she didn't like the regular tours, because they really, like, the quality of the tours at that time were not very good. It was really like taking you outside of the baptistry there and saying, oh, this is the baptistry, and tell you the date, and that was it, and then off you go. So I think it wasn't very sort of interesting. I've just trimmed that down. I just trim it down a little bit more. So yeah, so I just did a couple of tours for this man and his son, and you know, Steffi helped me with all of the sort of info that I needed. And it's you know, like, I love the Renaissance, and I love Italy, and I love art, and I didn't know that I liked art. That's a whole other story. We'll do that another day. And so yeah, so I did the tour, and then I started doing them when they were, like, as she grew, I started doing them, and she had this American girl that was permanent, and then I just go and wait in the morning and see if there were enough people for 2 groups, and then and actually there was pretty much nearly always enough people for 2 groups, and so we do this tour. And she had she did have this amazing tour that she had put together, very clever lady, and we're still friends, and she'd put together this amazing tour where it was just so much more interesting, the point of view, the way, like the things that she'd studied to tell people about. It wasn't just sort of, words are eluding me, it wasn't just sort of walking around saying this is the Duomo, or this is this, or this is that sort of thing. It was much more interesting. Oh, I wonder if I would like something like that sort of coming up. I don't want to cover the flower, do I? But I like that rough edge. Let me just tear it down a bit. So that's what I did, and then at the end of it all, when Stefano was getting towards the end of his degree, I said I want to go and live in Australia for a bit. So we did. Well, I might do that. So that is the big long-winded story of how things happened. It took my husband 10 years to be ready to get married. 10 years. We got married in 2003. We started going out in 1993. So imagine that. 10 years. But I do understand why it was more the, you know, changing countries, finishing. I mean, in Italy, they did at the time finish university very late, because basically the university, like, it's not like in Australia. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in Australia the exams are fixed. So you know, you don't just say, oh, this year I'm going to do this subject, this subject, and that subject. In Italy, you do. You decide how many exams you can manage in a year. They had a minimum, but then they decided how many exams they would do for the year, and so sometimes, for example, our friend from Cyprus, who studied architecture, he went to do an exam. I can't remember which one it was, and the professor didn't even turn up. So it delayed. Isn't that pretty? It delayed him doing the exam another 6 months. So it was a very disorganized system. I think it's changed a bit now. They've made it more in line with the rest of the world. I think I like that there. A little bit more in line with the rest of the world. So now it's like the degrees are a set amount of time. They're not, you know, it can take you 10 years to finish for numerous reasons. So there were also at the time when Steffi was there, corrupt professors as well. That there was one professor. He was Stefano's professor for English. He had to study these books. I mean, it was incredible. He had to study like English architecture, landscape architecture, and that sort of thing. And I couldn't believe that he could. And basically, this professor, and these books were like 600 pages, and he'd have to learn all about Wren and all these people. And literally, the professor could ask him questions from the middle of any book. I'm putting that over there. I need to put it over there. Any book. So I don't know how Steffi did it. I think I might just put a piece of this down the side and then decide that will be much faster. And anyway, so Stefano said to me, come to the exam. So our friend from Cyprus, he had his English was very good, because you know Cyprus was a British colony until, I think, was it 70 or something like that, or 72, and then they had like a little war with England, and you know, just a little one, and became independent. But in Cyprus they drive on the same side of the road as the English and the Aussies do, and the majority of them all speak English very well, and so his English was very good, and he could not pass this exam with this professor. He could not pass it. I think he did it twice, because the professor was corrupt. And so basically I went to the exam with Stefano because he was very nervous, and this professor could not even pronounce words properly in English. For castle he'd say castle, or possessed he'd say possessed, and I mean, our friend spoke better English than he did, but he could not pass the exam. And then because they do interrogations here, they don't do a lot of written exams. They have written assignments and stuff, but not written exams. And so they're like, you know, verbal sort of exams. And so he gave like really high marks to kids that didn't even say one word in English. And I was like, I was indignant. I was like wanting to get up. I wanted to get up and go and say something to him. And my husband said, no, don't, because I have to do my exam and he'll fail me. So Stefano did it, and I think he got 27 out of 30. And the professor said to him, your English leaves a lot to be desired. No, your English leaves a lot to be desired, he said. So anyway, it came out. He ended up in prison. He was taking, you know, if you bought him some Wedgwood porcelain, they're really expensive ones, he would give you full marks for your exam. That's what happened. He did go and work at the University of Venice as well, and then he got arrested. So there you go. That's how it was working. And no wonder that these kids were taking so long to finish uni. I tried to explain it to my dad, because he thought it was just bizarre that, you know, Steffi didn't finish university until he was like 28. I mean, he did have a good time as well, but his friends that didn't go out as much, they only finished like a year and a half before he did anyway, and they were like working solidly. So it was a lot to do with the system as well. Anyway, oh, you know, I did found something to talk about. Isn't that pretty? Now that is pretty. We need to get some textile on there. I like that. Yep. Textiles. Where are my textiles? Here we go. Here's some. I mean, everything's just everywhere, as usual. So I thought I was going to finish these off today, but no, because I really felt like I needed to make some more of these sort of ephemera sort of things, because I really didn't have anything made, and it does take time. As you can see, I made a whole lot off, but you watch, it seems like a lot off screen, I mean, it seems like a lot, but when I go to sort of put it all in the journal, little mini journals, there won't be anything left. There will not be anything left. Do we want a little bit of lace? No, I don't think so. Well, maybe a little bit. Oh, that's a good little piece. Maybe that little piece could just pop up there. Yes, why not? Keep it little. So I'll just glue this one down, and then that bag is done. I think I just keep it fairly simple, I think. And then we'll do one more. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. And so yes, I did think I was going to get them finished in a quicker time frame, but I don't think so. But you know, as I say, every video, you don't have to use these kits. You can adapt it to whatever you're working with. It's not obligatory. Might as well use up my scraps here that are just lying around. but I would like to get something different in there, so I'm going to pull out something else, I think. I love that. I want to see that. I love that. I do love the S as well, so maybe we'll put it up there and turn my book page around. And I'm putting them on that side over here, because that way I know that I'm going to put something else there, but I won't be covering up that side so much. Okay, super pretty. Right, now let's have a look. Where did this one come? Oh, see, these are those little pouchy things, aren't they great? And then when I'm cutting them, I'm putting a little strip, because Jaff puts the heading on the top of the page, most of the pages. So I'm just, when I cut out, I trim those as well, and that way I've got them there ready to put in these little pouches, so I know exactly where they go. That's that one. I don't need that one. So, oh, that's the pouch there. So I might just put those away now. I think these all go in there. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure they do. I could literally just do a whole year of videos with just these kits. Honestly, you'd all abandon me. You'd all be sick of me by then. But literally, I could do a whole year of videos just with these, because there are so many fun elements to play with, and I just love them. Right. So what else will I put? I've got some terrazzo here. Could be. Oh, I think I might like that little bit of terrazzo. Let me just cut this. Not the map. I wanted the terrazzo, so I'll just put that aside. Just tear that. Now this is on slightly heavier paper, so sometimes it doesn't tear so well. Just to put something different. Now this is kind of faded because I did put an effect on it. I didn't want it to look just like a regular sort of photo, if you know what I mean. I wanted it to have a little effect. My husband said, I can fix those for you. And I said, but I like them like that. I did it on purpose. I've got the original. I just like them like that. I want them to be like that. He's like, oh, I may put that there, I may not. So let's just move these out of the way. I've got papers over here that I haven't looked at for a few days. I'm shaking my table. Now, ladies in the States, what do you call drawers? I mean the drawers that you put things in, not the drawers, your undies. I don't mean those. I meant the drawers that you put things in. Oh, no, I don't think I'll do that. Oh, I love those. Put those. I want to look at that. Are these just not the prettiest journaling cards you ever did see? They really are. Oh, I've got these. I haven't used those. And yes, what do you call drawers? Because I didn't mean undies, I meant drawers. So I don't know what you call them. It doesn't come to my mind. I was reading a very funny comment that a lady thought that my undies were falling down. I couldn't keep my undies up. And he was thinking that was hilarious. And then we were both saying, but what do you call drawers in the States? What are they called? Oh, I love that. What about that? A piece of that. So yeah, when I did my, totally change the subject, why don't you? When I did my antiquariato, my antique trade marketing, so basically that course was relevant if you wanted to work in a auction house. So we learned how to write catalogues and how to identify paintings and furniture and tapestries and rugs and silver and ceramics, the whole, basically fine arts. It was like a fine arts degree, fine arts diploma. And I'm tearing it, but that's it, got it. So yes, this, we studied about fabric design and the history of fabric designs and how they evolved, and this was typical of the Renaissance, or especially the cut velvets and the silks. They had that sort of design on them. So I was very excited when I found that image, and to me it's very Renaissance Italy, very Renaissance Italy. I like that. So no terrazzo. Nope. And I might put a little bit of this one down. I've probably got a narrower bit that I could put down there. I've got that many scraps here from cutting up the pages. Even this one of these sort of Jarf has these sort of, I don't know if they're meant to be tea dyed or avocado dyed, because they're kind of got pinky sort of tones in them. Now I don't want to cover all that up, so I'll have to be careful what I choose to put on there, won't I? Isn't this fun? Okay, so then what's next? What's next? What's next? We need to find something not too big to go on there. But whatever I put, I don't want to cover that bit up over there. That's for sure. I don't want anything big like that. I need a little, I don't need words, I need a little, one of those, but I had some little tags here somewhere from the new kit. Here they are. There's also these. Let's see if there's anything that might go. I think I had another sheet there somewhere. Why don't I just put those all up on top, and then I can see better. Okay. Oh, that has to go in that one down there. Otherwise there's these. These are very pretty, but they're bigger. And I don't want to cover all of that design. So if you can hear any chanting, Lulu again is watching the Vampire, I think it's the Vampire Diaries. I told her that show seems to make a lot of horrible noises. Because if you're not watching, all you hear are horrible noises. No. You'll just have to bear with me until I find it. Got these nice little things I might like. Come on, out you come. Come on. Maybe just something little like that with a bit of textile. Oh, that's pretty. That's a possibility, even though it's little, I don't care. I won't audition all of them because there's a lot. Still like the first one. Don't mind that one. Don't mind that one. Don't mind that one. Hi guys, so my video cut out as it does. I think my memory filled up. I hadn't emptied out the deleted comments. Deleted comments, what am I saying? The deleted videos and images and things. So that's why I think it went out. So anyway, it stopped. So anyway, here I just went ahead and stitched everything. Love this. This is one of my favorites. I went ahead and stitched everything so that you could see the completed project. So this is that pretty glassine bag that I did, and then just two little tags to go in there. I love these. And then that one turned out really well. Very simple. So that's the bigger glassine bag folded up, and then I finished these three. You saw these. So they're three little glassine bags, and I need to do tags for those. And you probably missed this bit. It cut out before I think I had finally made my final decision for that one. So that I just stitched that onto a bit of sort of netting. So that's what I made. So that is today's video. I hope you enjoy it, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye.